I've for a long time viewed meditation as a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that was the thought of sitting there and just, because what it appears to be on the surface is sitting there and just not thinking about anything.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, all of these incredible people who are obsessed with productivity and efficiency and time and are very, very, very busy. Chamath as well, from the All In podcast. So many people that I follow and watch and listen to, and so many of the guests that have come here and that are wildly successful, they all talk about the benefits of meditation.
Right.
If there's someone listening to this now and they go, I don't meditate, and I, in any way, whatever technique they might use, I think I've always thought it's a waste of time. I've tried it, didn't work. What is the pitch you'd make to them about why they should persevere and persist?
Well, there's two main things. One is you tried it, it didn't work. Of course it didn't work. Like no one starts out being good at meditation. Like what the mind knows is distraction. It's literally jumping from one thing to another, flying from the past to the future, from the past to the future, just swimming in imagination. So that moment when you ask your mind to stay in one place for a few seconds, it'll be gone, totally gone. So of course you're bad at it, right? But that's why you try again. You keep trying. You calmly, without getting upset with yourself, you put time into it the same way where you would, use to build your muscles or educate yourself on, if you want to learn Spanish, you're not just going to know Spanish. You need to study. You're not going to know, zero Spanish when you begin. And you put 4, 5, 6 years of serious work into it, and you get really good at Spanish. It's the same thing with meditation. So one thing is accept that it's going to be extremely hard in the beginning, and it will humble you because you're like, damn, I suck at this. Good. Then you keep going. And the second part of it is it's an investment. You're making a huge time investment that produces incredible results inside of you in the way that you see the world, in the way that you talk to people, in the way that you create whatever it is that you want to give to the world. I think but you have to give it time. You have to give it time to really be able to see the results.
Maybe at the very crux of this, I was thinking as you were speaking then, people do what they want to do. And most of the things they do because they want to do them are because they are clear on the reward of doing it.
Totally.
Think about human behavior. Like I went to the toilet. I was clear on the results of going to the toilet and also not going to the toilet. So I went to the toilet.
Yeah.
The results of not going for a wee before you came here was I would urinate in my pants. So I did it. I ate breakfast this morning because I was clear on the upside of that. And also I had the urge to do it. When we think about meditation, when I think about the equation of why people do things, the bit that I think a lot of people aren't clear on is that first part, which is like, what is the upside?
Yeah.
I can take your word for it.
Yeah.
I can take a lot of very credible people's word for it. But I think that's the issue.
It's the issue. It's like you have to experience it for yourself. And I think a lot of people go into meditation for like its initial goals, for liberation, for you to be free from suffering, which is the most important goal. Like that's why I do it. Like I don't meditate to be a better writer, right? I don't meditate to for anything else other than to take small steps forward on the path of liberation, to truly try to cease the mechanism in my mind that's causing me suffering. And the sort of the externality of that, right, is that you become incredibly creative. Like you don't need to be, in film or writing or whatever. You can be in whatever field that it is. You can be an engineer, you can be a doctor, a dentist, but you become so much more creative because your mind isn't as stressed as it used to be. And it's able to make connections a lot more quickly because your mind is sharper. And understanding that creativity and understanding how it impacts your relationships that makes them so much more deeper than before, I think it gives you an access to new beauty in life. And why not? Why not spend that time on yourself?
So you meditate to avoid suffering?
Not avoid, to be able to understand reality so well that I don't cause myself suffering.
If you were to give me instructions then on the meditation you did this morning, what instructions would you give me to replicate what you did?
I think, so this is the thing, it's like this style of meditation, you can't pay for it. You can't get it off of a YouTube video. Like you have to go to a 10-day course because it's not, I can tell you the instructions, but do you have enough of the cultivated qualities to be able to actually deeply feel the body? Like, that's why it's a step by step. That 10 days is literally like one giant guided meditation. Incredibly simple instructions, but you won't be able to do them unless your mind is like calm enough. Unless it's, it's like going to the gym. It's like if you were to ask me to go run a marathon right now, like I wouldn't be able to do it. I have to train for it.
Okay, so I'm not going to be able to do it just based on your instructions. I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as to the specific the specific instructions. Like,
Yeah. So the two basics are, like what I was describing to you. The first 3 days, you're observing the breath.
I mean, this morning.
And this morning, same thing. Well, this morning, I was basically observing my body. Bringing my attention to my body. Start at the top of the head and keep feeling my body as I'm moving down. And it sounds really simple, but when you put time into it, when you like keep going to courses, the amount that you feel, it expands pretty incredibly. Yeah.
Do you think the most important answers that we're searching for are within us?
Totally. If you spend your whole life looking outside, you could read every book in the world and still be absolutely miserable. I think it requires this application of self-awareness to really unlock your happiness. Like, you have to develop what you're missing. Like compassion is in your mind, but it's undeveloped. Like self-awareness, it's a capacity you have, totally undeveloped. Like that's what was shocking to me when I went to go meditate, was like my mind could do these things, but my awareness was so meek when I first started, because it was like a muscle. Like when I go to these meditation courses, I've gone to courses that are 20, 30, 45 days long, I come out of them and I'm like, I just spent my whole time at the gym. Like it was just a mental gym. I was like literally developing my ability to be aware, my ability to be equanimous, and my ability to have love for myself and all beings.
That's my favorite ever quote that I've ever shared on Instagram, is what you've just said, which is, there's no self-development without self-awareness. You can read as many books as you like, but if you can't read yourself, you'll never learn a thing.
Well, this is why, so like people listening now, like this is why I became so interested in you. Right. Was when I first came around your work and the algorithm started popping it up. This was like 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago. And I was like, dude, we're on the same wave. Like, we're not doing the same thing. We live totally different lives, but there's something there that's like, it's the same wave.
It's a curiosity. It's a curiosity that I see in your work and in you. And it's funny because the subject matter is not subject matter that is for everybody. And you'll know this from doing the work you do. There's some people that when they read terms like self-love and healing, they go, oh, fuck, what's this? You know what I mean? But it's funny. I just wish those people knew that all of their goals start with that. If they want to be a billionaire or a millionaire for whatever reasons they want, I don't want to judge you. You want a Lamborghini, if you want to be happy, you want a beautiful relationship, it all starts with these words, that self-love and healing.
It's interesting, man. Like I just saw the movie Air.
Oh, I just watched that.
And I loved it. It was incredible. But what was really telling to me was that the guy who owned Nike, he was meditating a lot.
Yeah.
And like it was really helping him. It was helping him stay cool under pressure. It was helping him like make more creative decisions. Like same thing with Steve Jobs. Like he was a serious meditator. And same thing with Sam Altman, created OpenAI. Like he's a serious meditator. Just met him the other day and like he's meditating quite seriously. But like these are people who are high performing people who make it a point to cultivate their minds.
And these are people that are obsessed with productivity.
Totally. And that
time.
That's something that blew my mind, experiencing it personally, where as I kept going to courses, I realized like I can do more. I can do more with less stress. And to me, that's been incredible. Like at first I was a writer, and then I started opening up and going into the venture capital world. And even later, I'm thinking about opening a business, but I wouldn't have been able to do anything if it wasn't really for that basic development of self-awareness and, equanimity. And I keep using the word. And equanimity, what I'm talking about is basically your ability to observe something as it really is without craving it or without having any aversion towards it. You're not hating it. You're not loving it and wanting it. You're just observing it as it is.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.